Well, this is the second one I'm doing today. We need to have a talk about the political rhetoric in this country, and before anyone gets on here and says, oh, you're talking about Trump's rhetoric. I'm actually talking about Biden's rhetoric. Let's have a little confab for a minute here. See, back a ways, we had a sitting U.S. president get up and make a speech. And I am going to play for you that speech right now, because it's important for you to know the context of the image that you saw in my thumbnail, number one, but also what I'm about to say. Alright. Just give me a second. I have this stuff prepped, but not prepped well enough.
Present an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and
I'm going to let him drone on.
By Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear and present danger to our democracy. But while the threat to American democracy is real, I want to say as clearly as we can, we are not powerless in the face of these threats. MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies. We told ourselves that American democracy is guaranteed, but it's not. We have to defend it, protect it, stand up for it. Each and every one of us. We're all called by duty and conscience to confront extremists who put their own pursuit of power above all else. We must be stronger, more determined, and more committed to saving American democracy than MAGA Republicans are to destroying American democracy. MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair. They spread fear and lies. Lies told for profit and power. The MAGA Republicans believe that for them to succeed, everyone else has to fail. Donald.
Okay, I think y'all kind of get the point, right? Biden's kind of a fucking scumbag, all right? He's going to sit here and say it's a tragedy that happened yesterday, and yet, you know, not even a full 24 hours have passed. Actually, yeah, not even. Since what he wanted, what he was essentially pushing people to do, yeah. And before you say, oh, but man, the guy that did the thing was a registered Republican. Love that argument. Let's see what happens here. Oh, wait, what's that? Thomas Crooks, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, $15, earmarked for the Progressive Turnout Project, a.k.a. Biden's super PAC. Huh. Would a registered Republican donate a red fucking penny to these boneheads, let alone $15, when he's unemployed? You're brain dead if you think that's the case. It's simple. No one donates to Act Blue unless they are standing behind Act Blue. So, riddle me this little fact. There, Mr. Leftoids in the media and everywhere else. I got a question for you then. Who is it that's doing the violent rhetoric? I mean, Tim Pool's got a nice little, 2-minute video of a bunch of Democrats calling for violence in the streets that you guys broadcasted, by the way. You guys are the ones who gave us that footage. So unless you're saying you manufactured that footage and have been lying to us and the American people, are you going to stand by your word? Or are we going to have to frog march you in front of the court as a propaganda machine and have you stripped of your media protections? Because that's what it's looking like here, people. Enough about the media. Back to the rhetoric. You want to sit here and say that Donald Trump's fight rhetoric is terrible. There's a lot of versions of the word fight. Not too many versions of the word, we should have unrest and violence in the streets. There, Miss Maxine Waters. You know who you are. You just saw the video of Biden effectively calling 35% to half of all Americans a threat to their democracy, which, by the way, this country is not. This country is a constitutional republic. Look it up. I shouldn't have to give you a friggin' civics lessons on YouTube. You should already know this shit. But the number one thing that fucking blows my mind is the hypocrisy of these fucking idiots. You projected this. Oh, and to make matters worse, Biden made a comment in a private call about putting Trump in a bullseye. Oh boy, was that could not have been more poorly timed. There's no way he could have known that this would have happened, right? Like, there's no friggin' way. And yet, when you call half of the Americans in this country, or even 35% of the Americans in this country, a threat to your country, guess what? It's just a matter of time before some whack job does something stupid. This is why I keep telling people that gun-free zones don't work. Because nut jobs like this. Secret Service is supposed to be protecting the president and his rally. Well, a person's dead and another one's in the fucking hospital. How's that gun-free zone working for you now? Which, by the way, presidential debates and rallies are supposed to be gun-free because they're supposed to have federal and state and local resources to defend the event. If they failed at a rally, where else are they going to fail? How long are you people going to sit here and cower in your gun-free zones thinking that there's a cop around every corner when the reality is that we don't even have enough cops to cover the corner by the donut shop? I hate to be the guy to say it, but you're an idiot. You're an idiot if you can't defend yourself. And by the way, I am overweight. I know defending yourself has a lot to do with being in shape. I know how to use my weight. Okay, if I have to throw my weight into a target to neutralize a target, I will. That's 300 and I forget what the exact figure is, but it's about or within single digits over 300 pounds of weight. It takes about 20 pounds of weight to snap a neck. It takes less than that to break a bone, and even less than that to dislocate a joint. So, well, it depends on the fracture, but yes, there have been martial artists who have broken a bone exerting less than 10 pounds of force themselves, using momentum to increase that to the point that the bone snapped like a twig. The point is I might be fat, but I'm not defenseless, and I'm not stupid enough to go anywhere without being armed. And you know what? With whack jobs like this, right? And this is not just an attack on Biden when I say this stuff. There's a large portion of mental health to this. I guarantee it. I can guarantee it. Some poorly underdeveloped kid saw this speech from President Biden and other speeches like it and saw it as a call to action, and he acted. He acted badly. Really badly. Right? And to use parlance that Trump would use when I say really badly, here's the deal. And here's where I have a problem with this. I'm going to blame Biden for his rhetoric because even if it's not him at the ship, even if he's not at the helm of the ship because he's mentally in compos mentis, the people writing his speech should have known better. All of his speeches that have called on this. All of them. And now we have a dead body and a wounded in the hospital. And you know what? People can say what they want about J6. If you actually watched the real video footage that showed Trump calling for non-violent protest and paid the fuck attention to when Twitter took it down shortly after he posted it, and he had to repost it over on Truth, which is why there was a 10-minute delay. Believe it or not, uploading things to the internet, even in this day and age, still takes time. And not everywhere has the best service. Yeah. There's that. Also, as a matter of recourse, I can about almost guarantee that Trump posts to Truth Social before he posts to X or Twitter, or anywhere else for that matter. Why would he post to them first? They're not his platform. Truth is his platform. He owns it. Of course he's going to post there first. Or maybe I have my timeline mixed up and maybe Truth Social wasn't even a thing back then, but I could about guarantee that it was. Because it was towards the end of his election, and I know for a fact that Truth Social had existed for about a good year or two before the next election took place, the 2020 election. So, you know, kind of put that in your pipe and smoke it and think about it for a hot second. What does this mean? What did I just say? What does it mean? What am I trying to say here? Stop calling for violence. Stop giving these whack jobs excuses. Stop getting up on the stage and saying, oh, the right side of the political spectrum is evil and they're going to kill us all. You guys are morons. No one's going to destroy this fucking country from the inside except for you with your division and your rhetoric that calls for violence. I'm going to call it. You literally said that it's time to stop talking about the debate and put Donald Trump in a bullseye. Well, if you said crosshair, I probably would have written that off as, you know, maybe the crosshair of your political campaign. But a bullseye? That is explicit shooter territory, sir. You only get a bullseye in archery and at the firing range. So maybe you need to really, really have a long chat with your staff about the shit that gets leaked out and the stuff that gets communicated to other people. Long and hard. If you're Joe Biden, that is exactly what you need to be doing. And you need to have a come to Jesus moment with your own rhetoric, instead of sitting here projecting your own inadequacies onto other candidates who are literally just out there chanting "Make America Great Again," more or less over and over again, like a bunch of crayon eaters that are literally gone beyond just eating the damn things. They're basically shoving them up their fucking nose at this point. And you're the one out there inciting violence by saying shit like they're the threat to the country, making yourself the threat to the country. In the minds of these whack jobs, by the way. I don't see you as a threat. I see a feeble old man who can't even walk up a flight of stairs. He can't hold a press conference without flubbing. He can't even do a debate successfully. I'm sorry, but you're toast, dude. As far as your capacities as president goes, I have a feeling the only reason Russia hasn't launched nukes at us at this point is because Putin's sitting there thinking like those poor people. They elected this fucking idiot who's so old he can't even string along a proper sentence without trailing off into the weeds about a gaff care. You're a joke. You're not a threat, you're a joke. That's where you're at. Now what is a threat is the mental whack jobs who see you make statements like this. They claim to be on one side of the aisle or the other. Okay? Doesn't matter. But then they donate to you and they take your word as gospel. And then they grab a gun. That's the problem. That is the problem. And that, Joseph R. Biden, is why you have blood on your hands. Because you spoke the wrong words to the wrong people. You said it to the mentally unstable with access to weaponry. And oh, by the way, if it wasn't a gun, it could have been a car or a bomb or any other weapon. And you know this. So don't even bring up gun control because you know that's not going to fix a damn thing. You know that that's just you rattling your sabers to try to make certain individuals in your base feel better about their lives. That's all that shit is. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. I don't want to do an hour-long video today, another one. But I kind of feel like we need to have a long, heart-to-heart conversation about lessening the violent rhetoric in our fucking political discourse. Because I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning to another 22-year-old, 20-year-old kid who has his brains flayed out all over the roof of another building because he tried to shoot someone he wasn't supposed to try to shoot. Okay? That's more my point. You people need to tone it down. Alright? I know we have freedom of speech in this country, and that's great, as long as it doesn't incite violence. And you, sir, have had enough rhetoric in your speeches to, in fact, incite at least a person to violence, if not more than one. Now, I understand that the president enjoys immunity. I wonder if that immunity stretches out to inciting American citizens to violence against each other. I kind of got to wonder about that. You know, because if by the way, before we sign off, if any American left or right, well, if you're on the left, you probably get a slap on the wrist because that's the way the fucking political winds are. But if any normal fucking Republican were to incite this kind of reaction from somebody, we would absolutely be looking at criminal charges. And I think you should be too. President or not. That is my personal fucking opinion. And I don't know how far the legal protections actually are for a sitting president. And I would actually want to ask the Supreme Court just how far of a speech is a president allowed to take before, when someone does something stupid, you know? Before they can be held accountable. That's a good fucking question. Another good question is, why wasn't there another Secret Service agent or someone on the roof of the building that this kid was on? It's almost like that hole was put there on purpose. I know Secret Service aren't stupid. Alright? We all do. That's the one thing that keeps you people in power, and not in the dirt, is the Secret Service. Because, let's face it, I'm not one of them, but there's a lot of wackos out there with a lot of guns and a lot of other weapons who just chomping at the bit. They are. I'm not one. I'll say it again. Yeah, I have access to any number of things that I see fit, but look, let's face it, unless you come to my home and threaten me physically, I'm not... Dude, I'm 300 pounds. I go shopping and I sweat bullets. Okay? Now, bear in mind, my shopping is usually a good, 5-mile walk around the entirety of our Walmart, but you get my point. If I don't have the effort, barely have the effort to go pick up food, what makes you think I'm going to travel 100 plus miles out of my way just to be put in prison or be put in the dirt? It's too much work. It's too much effort. I'm a normal American, dude. I am probably the closest thing to the everyday Joe that you're going to get. When I'm not working or doing something else, I'm sitting on my ass watching TV. The only reason I'm not drinking a beer is because I'm trying to quit. And I've done very well at quitting at that, being that I've had one spiked lemonade in the last 2 years. By the way, this from someone who used to down Everclear like it was fucking water. And if you know what Everclear is, you know why that's a problem. I should be dead right now. No joke. So I'm kind of proud of myself about that. But, and I've quit smoking. I had a cigarette yesterday because I have 2 family members that are recovering, and, one that's recovering from a hospital visit, another one who's probably going to have to go in. Yesterday was not a good day for me. And then I come home, I go to sleep, I wake up to this at 3 o'clock in the morning, because yes, I wake up at 3. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, it'll be 4. I wake up to someone making an attempt on a former U.S. president who's running for office. By the way, how many times in U.S. history has that statement been made? Someone ought to do some research on that. I ain't gonna do it. I I got a lawn to mow, I got food to cook, I got a dog to take care of, and that would probably definitely take way too much time out of my day researching to see how many times that exact phrase that a former U.S. president who is running for office just had an attempt on his life. I wonder how many times that particular event has happened. Because there's only been one in my lifetime, and that was yesterday. And I'm in my 30s. Oh, by the way, on the weight thing, actually, I am down from 310. I'm at 3 even. I actually saw the number 2 at the beginning of the scale yesterday, and I got so excited. It said, like, 297 or something like that, and I was just like... I was about to take my shirt off and start doing the, Yahoo thing. I was, like, jumping for joy. I got on it this morning, again, and it was back up by about a pound, but still saw the 2, so hopefully we can keep the trend going down. So, I guess I'm not exactly 300, but close enough. Sit on someone's chest with 300 pounds, see how well it works. That's a dark joke, but it's supposed to be funny. But given the context of this video, I don't think jokes are probably the most appropriate thing to be telling. But seriously, y'all need to stop calling for violence on the left. And y'all on the right who think you're not, but somehow you are, stop. Just stop arguing over it. It's kind of like that stop playing the blame game thing. I feel like the parent in the room and y'all are a bunch of kids. Stop playing the blame game and just stop it, right? Like, just stop. We've kind of had enough. At least one person is dead from your fucking games, okay? Actually, more than just a person if we include all the riots, everything dating back to before Trump was even president. Back when we had, like, the Ferguson riots and all this other stuff. Like, stop playing games with the facts and give us the information. And to the people out there who just react without getting all the facts on everything, stay home. Just stay home. Get all your information in order, then formulate a plan. Okay? These half-baked protests that literally just lead to riots, they're stupid. They're pointless. You're hurting your own neighborhoods over nothing. Or you're an insurgent from another area, like a rich white area, who's just guilt-tripping everyone because you have nothing better to make yourself feel better with. So you have to go to these neighborhoods and inspire a protest or a riot and cause people to burn their fucking town down to make yourself feel better. You're sick in the head. And I'm sorry, I have no pity for you. If you get stomped out when they figure out what you're doing, you did it to yourself. Anyway, we're going to call it. I'm going to call it. Stop fucking up. This goes all the way around. Republican, Democrat, Secret Service, FBI. Stop fucking up and get this one right. We want the fucking truth and we deserve it. We're the American people. We pay your tax dollar. We pay our taxes, which pay your fucking salaries. You are therefore accountable to us and need to be held to account. And when we say we deserve the fucking truth about what happened yesterday, and all the other fucking times you asshats have been involved and try to cover shit up, we fucking mean it. I have a half a fucking brain to call my congressman who sits on the other side of the aisle from me, and I know you can see that lobster up above my head, and you know that Jared Golden is a Democrat. I have a half a mind to call him and say, look, we're the American people, we deserve the truth from these institutions. Unredacted, undefiled. They answer to us. We pay your salary, we pay their salary. Without our vote, as our representative, Mr. Golden, you, sir, do not have a job. You're flipping burgers at McDonald's, just like my fiance does. You're mowing lawns. Alright? Think about that for a minute. Just think about that. Let that sink in. Unless you want to get greasy in a fryer somewhere, you might want to straighten up and start asking the right questions. And on that note, that very cryptic note about asking the right questions from iRobot, love that movie, it's a very good point. Stop asking the wrong questions, start asking the right ones. Have a good day.